You're listening to Scale Right Revolution, the show to follow if you're a high-achieving founder, business owner, or entrepreneur running a 7 to 8 figure company and you're ready to create your next level vision and make a bigger impact without missing out on life. I'm Tori Boats, an award-winning serial entrepreneur and the creator of an unconventional strategic advisory company where our mission is to help you revolutionize how you scale and pursue your most ambitious goals yet, while feeling lit up in your business every day. You deserve to live a fulfilling, wealthy life, balanced with family, friends, rest, and joy. So let's dive in. And before we do, hit that follow or subscribe button. Success is meaningless if you don't enjoy the ride. And anyone who tells you otherwise isn't telling you the whole story. Why? Because when you look at someone from afar, see their success, see the big smile on their face, that's not the whole story. It's the same when you think about your own success. When you think about the grandeur that's coming, the picture is rosy. It seems like a dream. Well, because it is. If you want to actually experience that dreamy life that success will bring, you'd better prepare for that now, or you'll never reach it. Not truly. You see, it's not the stuff we can buy or the time that we think we'll get back that creates the dream life that success will bring. It's the feeling underneath. And you might be saying, say what, girl? But that's what we're going to cover in this episode. Welcome to the Make Money and Be Happy series, where I'm sharing how you can have both, a rich and happy life while you make serious money doing work you love, without starting over from scratch, giving up on your ambition, or relying on luck to be in the right place at the right time. I hope to make you stop and say, wait a minute, I don't have to do life or business this way anymore. I have the power to change, to rethink the next phase, to move around the obstacles and do things my way. This series will challenge your thinking, in a good way, to get you aligned with the work you can obsess over, that fits into your picture of happiness and that energizes you too. And dare I say that you'll love it? Here we go. So what do I mean by success is a feeling underneath? Let me explain. How close are you to achieving success? Imagine this. My heart was racing. I was in an all-out panic, trying to get over myself. The imposter syndrome was rearing its ugly head, trying to stop me from going for it, that big dream that kept nagging at me. Years I had put it off. And here I was, after 30 years in a successful career, huge success in my business, like multi-million-dollar wins under my belt, major wins in corporate, a valedictorian with 2 master's degrees, one in computer science and engineering, and my MBA. Plus, I'd been mentoring entrepreneurs and C-suite leaders for over 20 years as I continued to grow my own tech business. You get the picture. It's the stuff resumes are written of. But I felt like it wasn't enough. Like somehow I needed more achievements before I was ready for what was next. That's what achievement feels like. It's like a distant memory of the past that you checked the box on, may have remembered to slow down just long enough to eat a piece of cake, and then shoved it in a drawer, on to the next thing. So this is where we pause and we really look at what success is all about. You see, from this example, all the experience in the world didn't mean shit. I forgot. When I read over my bio, it doesn't feel like me. I think, wow, who did all that stuff already? It took a friend saying, wow, for me to realize, yeah, I guess I did that. But even then, pride was fleeting. I was still miserable with where I ended up. I had achieved all my goals in my professional bucket list early, like in my 20s. I was a successful business owner. I was a C-level officer. I created my own table and was steering the ship. Dunzo. And then I spent the next several years burning the midnight oil to grow a business that didn't excite me, always searching for the next shiny goal to chase. But what do you do when all the editorials on famous CEOs no longer interest you? You see, that was the next logical step for me, not to just be a C-level leader in what we call in the defense and tech industry a large, small business. I wasn't satisfied, so that must mean that I need to be a famous CEO, like the people I read about in newspapers and magazines. After years of chasing the unanswerable question, what's my passion? What am I meant to be doing? I finally figured it out. Success is meaningless if you don't enjoy the ride, and anyone who tells you otherwise isn't telling you the whole story. Because where I was, surrounded by success, wasn't giving me meaning. I was at a point where more revenue, more headcount, more vanity metrics to impress the other business owners in the room no longer held the same meaning for me. I looked around and I hated where I ended up. A tragic yet common story, which is why I bring it up again today. I discovered that underneath all the achievement, the wealth, the house, the neighborhood, the family, was the happiness I was chasing. And here's the eerie truth of it all. If you don't cultivate happiness along the way, you won't recognize it when you finally get there. The success you've been chasing will seem ever elusive, and you'll literally exhaust yourself to death before you ever reach your desired destination. And that's the key. Desire. And desire is a feeling. What was I chasing? Money? No. Happiness. I was chasing happiness. And more specifically, I dreamed of work that would make me happy. I wanted to do work that made me happy and still made serious money. Make money, be happy. Pretty simple. But as I shared in episode 1, how suffering for your success leads to failure, I was conditioned by so many people who loved me that work isn't supposed to be fun, that it's a hobby or a job I could never be lucky enough to make the big bucks doing. Sad, really. But also, I've learned this lesson for you and for my kids, and also for the rest of my own life. Because I've also learned that it's never too late, even after building a career for 30 years that I never really loved. It just wasn't good enough because I happened to be good at it. So how does this relate to you? I have 4 main thoughts for you on this. So first of all, owning all your shit. It's coming face to face with why you are pursuing each goal. What are the reasons? And diving deep into the underlying motivation of it. That's where the gold is. So let's take a pause here and think of an example. I find that when you can give something meaning in your own life, even if it's business, this is that mixing of your professional and your personal goals together. When you can figure out what is driving me forward, what is the meaning this is going to mean to my life, what change am I trying to make, that can give you motivation. And what's more, if you take that beyond yourself and you spread that out to those that are near and dear to you, you bring that to your family. When I hit this change for myself, when I am happy myself, what does happy Tori get to give to those near and dear? And even more than that, what story can I tell? What story can I show them? What example can I set? Oh, and then you become a role model, not just a talking head to somebody. If you ever think about your kids listening to you yet again, I wonder if they really do hear the wah, wah, wah from Charlie Brown. I always listen to my folks, but I realized after having my own kids that I was an odd kid. So I can imagine that my kids are rolling their eyes every time I tell them something. But when I show them, when I prove it by doing it myself, they perk up. That is one of my motivations. It's the reason why I'm pursuing growth, why I'm pursuing a whole new avenue to my life and my business. Because why should I continue to do a business that makes me unhappy? I closed it down, y'all. A successful business. Not my first, my second business. I closed it down to pursue something that I didn't ever think was possible for me. And if I can take this pivot, so can you. So what's your motivation? What's your why? For me, it's happiness for my life because I finally woke up and realized that I deserve to be happy. I get to be happy and I get to do work that makes me feel excited. And you betcha, I'm going to bring my ability to be successful and to make success happen with me, no matter what work I choose to do. And I stay on that path no matter what ups and downs I come across. I'm building my resilience. Why? Because I am a role model for my kids to do the same thing, to pursue what makes them happy, to pursue their greatest potential. And that's owning it. That keeps me going when it doesn't look like I'm ever going to be successful, when I have a client that decides they don't want to keep going, when I have a launch that didn't go as planned, when I have an offer that I'm really unsure about. All I have to do is get into my own change and get into the change I'm trying to bring to the world, which is that third layer. There's the personal, the effect it has on near and dear, and then the world. And I define the world as the people that deserve to be happy building their business, that deserve to feel confident if they want to pivot or expand their business or go into a new market or hire their first team or shift their business from a culture that they look around and they're not really happy with. They don't even like working in their own business. We can shift that without destroying the whole thing. It's magical. And that's why I do this work. So ask yourself the same question. What are the reasons? And are you owning it? My thought number 2 is business can be hard. There is a reality to it. To be resilient in the face of a knockdown after knockdown, to be committed so wholeheartedly for the right reasons that nothing can stop you. Yes, there's a reality to it, but it doesn't have to suck. My third thought on this is if you don't enjoy the process of building your business in the day-to-day action of it, you'll be missing the whole point. The point is to reach the destination, which you assume will bring you happiness. But happiness is really at the root of what humans have been chasing throughout history. I mean, think about it. What will that all-exclusive, exotic, luxurious, all expenses paid girlfriend vacation a la Sex in the City style that you can now afford to give or insert your own dreamy luxury? What will that truly be about? It will be about happiness and acceptance and love and friendship and connection. The experience of something magical together. You've got to learn to feel that along the way. Or when you get there, you won't remember to enjoy it and to recognize the joy. You won't take that with you. You'll just be on to the next pursuit. You'll be shoving it in a drawer and ready to go on to the next thing. No. And I'll give you some ways to get started with that later on in this episode. Now, my fourth thought on this is when we talk about enjoying our ride through success, I must talk about the money demon. This is what I call that little voice in my head who used to steer all my work decisions away from the fun stuff. This is the voice that says, stop daydreaming and get back to work. You can't wait around for luck. You have to ditch that hope of being chosen and just work hard. So put your nose down. You have to prove your value by working harder, producing more results than everybody else to stand out. because you're never in the right place at the right time. You aren't charismatic. You aren't liked like he is. Ooh, that's a mean one. It used to get me every time. And here's the gotcha that used to get me even worse than that one. I had an exciting idea, and this is the voice that would come in. Yeah, but that idea isn't guaranteed to work, and you don't know how to make money doing that. Or how about this one? What if it fails and you lose everything you've worked so hard to build? Man, that money demon is mean. And it used to be the only voice I listened to. And speaking of that hard path to building, tune into episode 9, where I show you how to choose the path that not only makes sense for you in each stage that you're in, it also is a fundamental choice you have to start your own scale right revolution. All right, so back to the money demon. Tell me if this is familiar. You're facing two options. You could go left or you could go right. And so you do the natural thing, especially in business. You compute the ROI. What is the potential for earning if I go left? And what's the potential for earning going right? So what happens when both options have the same potential? Which do you choose? Or do you choose to stay on the same path you're on now and hope that you also can get to the next ROI or the bigger ROI? The answer is that you stay stuck. At least that's what happened for me. I stayed stuck because I couldn't choose. Do I go left or do I go right? I wasn't feeling any particular pull to either one. Like, you know that exercise where people say you flip a coin and when it lands, let's say it lands on heads and you dread or you have this little dip in your stomach, you're like, oh, I feel disappointed. Then you know the answer you were hoping for is tails. So then you have an obvious choice there. Well, no matter how many times I flipped that coin, and no matter how many times it came up heads versus tails, I never felt that. I just felt blank. I felt unresolved. I couldn't make that decision. So I kept on the same path I was on, knowing that there was something else, something better, something more I was meant to be doing. Knowing that pushing harder and harder, getting my nose back to the grindstone worked for me in the past, but it was not the answer to go forward. You know, sometimes when you hear that what got you here won't get you there, sometimes that means that you just need to change your strategy, change your business plan, or evolve your business to handle that next level of growth. You know, that's where my mind tends to go. And when I'm coaching clients on strategy in their business, we're always looking at the methodology there. But this is different. This is the time where you're reflecting on the motivation behind that choice because you're in a path, and no matter how you see that future going forward, you can't see it as something you look forward to. And so you're looking for other options. For me, the other options were finding a different solution set or finding a different customer set, but staying in technology. And while I love technology, there was just something about the work that I was doing that didn't feel aligned with my interest. It didn't excite me. It didn't light me up. And so when I thought about the options, I was still doing more of the same. It was just colored a little differently. And that's why I was staying stuck. And it's because I wasn't allowing myself to look at other options. So I'm wondering for you, is there an option that you really wish you could take a look at? Is there an option you wish would work out, that you could put it on the table and it would stand up to the other options as having a similar ROI? So I want to challenge you a bit here, to challenge your thinking that sometimes the potential we have can't be seen in the numbers on the table. I believe that you can make money no matter what industry you decide to go in. There's always a role that you can play or a job that you can have that will take you to a different level of earning potential, a different level of creating wealth, a different level of creating a business, creating a niche for yourself. I mean, if you take the entertainment industry, you might work in the entertainment industry and make peanuts. Maybe you're just sweeping the floor. Well, the guy or gal sweeping the floor does not have the earning potential of the owner of the janitorial company. Or they don't have the earning potential of the person who operates the camera. Or they don't have the earning potential of the executive producer. Or of the actor, the talent. So there are so many different roads that you can choose in an industry that changes your earning potential. And when I mention the janitor job, it's not even that you have to choose to be the actor or the producer in the entertainment industry. You could just choose to own the janitorial service business. That right there gives you a completely different earning potential. And you didn't change industries. You changed the role that you play. You changed what you were thinking about, employment versus owning something. And that's really the luxury that we have when we choose a path. It's where do we want to play in that game? And you don't even have to be the owner of the business. But when you are the owner of the business, there's a lot more at stake in the decisions that you make. So listening to that money demon that says, don't go down the path that feels exciting, is really limiting you, because your creativity comes online when you feel excited, when you're interested in something, and you get to pivot as you evolve as a human and as your business evolves. That's the beauty of getting to create whatever we want to create and being flexible in the roles that we choose and the jobs that we choose as we grow as humans. It's a wonderful choice. And it doesn't mean that you have to start over from scratch and burn it all down and start over from nothing, losing everything you worked so hard to build. It doesn't mean that. You can make smart, responsible pivots as you go. That's the beauty of creativity and choice. But let's dive into what we can do about this. Come on, let's go. I got 4 thoughts for you here. Number 1, break out of your funk. You know what I like to do to break out of my funk? Start believing that it's possible and take a dang dance break. Talk about getting funky. Sometimes you just have to giggle, laugh, take the stress off, not make it mean the end of the world. And then do something a little different, do something unexpected. And by doing something unexpected, it could just be dreaming, having a fantasy of what could my business and life be like. I wonder, and how can I make that possible? How can I make that a reality? So break out of your funk. Number 2, define your ultimate goal. And it's based on a certain feeling and lifestyle that you design. That's your ultimate goal, not your business. Your business is there to support the life you want to live. And that means you have to live that life. Number 3, quest for meaning and motivation. It bears repeating here. Success is meaningless if you don't enjoy the ride. And I'm here to tell you that there's so much more to the story. So I used to not think about meaning or making a difference in the world. And you know what? That's okay. Perfectly okay. It served me to a point. And then there came a point where I wanted my business to be differentiated. I wanted my business to mean something so that I had a story to tell. So other people would remember me, would remember my business, and would refer me and would invite me, would call me to be a strategic partner. I mean, that was the dream. And I needed to be able to have that meaning behind my business, which can only come from me. I needed a story about what problem my business was trying to solve. You need to know that too. What is the meaning behind why you exist? Why is your business better? or the single source? Can you convince people on the other side of the negotiation table to add you, to remember you, to refer you? And what I didn't realize is meaning doesn't come from the outside. The same way as connecting to a problem that you want to solve doesn't motivate you when you seek to feel inspired and bring the best of your creative flow to the situation. That inspiration, that connection feeling comes from inside. So if you're looking everywhere outside for a problem to solve, which is common, look inside. Look inside first. And then motivation will keep you going. And an artificial, meaningful story is just hype. And people see through the hype, including you. It doesn't last. If you find yourself having to hype yourself up in order to encourage your employees to help you grow the company, because then you're hyping them up, don't you think they can see right through that? And if they can't, how long does the hype last? How long does it last for you? That's about how long it lasts for them. And number 4, ignite your impact beacon. It's a simple model to give you direction through any decision. That impact beacon is like a lighthouse that steers you in the dark. It calls you forward. It tells you where you're going. Yes, technically a lighthouse helps you avoid the rocks, but isn't that what you're doing when you know where you're going? You're making sure you're on track. You know where you are on the map. So here's a pro tip. What's a must-have pillar of your decision-making framework? I take my clients through a 4-part decision-making framework that starts with getting crystal clear on their ultimate goal. Then why is this important to you? Because when you can bring that lens into the frame of your decisions, you instantly add new criteria to the process. So you're no longer stuck with the same old transactional, money-based decisions, which steers to ignore the wisdom you have deep inside. That money demon doesn't get to drive. If you want to learn more about how your ultimate goal fits into your business goals and building a life supported by your business as you take your game to the next level, check out how to gain your own advantage at toriboats.com/advantage. That's toriboats.com/advantage. If this podcast inspires you in any way, I invite you to take this further. For every client I work with, whether it's one-on-one, a VIP day, or a long-term engagement, we use the Visionary Advantage system as the foundation. You can step right into using my system for yourself with a free gift from me to you by visiting toriboats.com/advantage. Inside, you'll find a new way of thinking about how you scale your business so you can continue to run at the highest level without missing out on life. Plus, simple steps so you can take immediate action right now. And if you have any questions, you can email them to me. So, before the next episode plays, go to toriboats.com/advantage.